Media and mass media, they call themselves the fourth estate or the fourth pillar of democracy. There is legislature, executive, judiciary, and then media, comprising journalists and print media and television, radio, mass media. Now, it's good, but then the point is the first three are not commercial, in theory at least, or technically. Whereas mass media outlets are essentially run by businesses, and they are businesses. None of them is an NGO or a voluntary organization or a non government organization or a non profit making organization. Whether you take newspapers or radio channels or TV channels or whatever, they are all basically businesses. So they have, like any private sector organization, they are the profit motive is imperative for them. So when that is the case, when their job is to make money, then how does one trust them for truth and impartiality and no commercial connotations? How does one separate that? Because you can't be completely independent, objective, and unbiased when there is profit motive, because then you will try to see to it that you increase your profits, maximize your viewership. You want more and more people to watch or consume what you produce. So you will either pander to the lowest common denominator, you will try to make yourself as popular as possible, maybe even at the cost of quality. You will try to go for mass rather than class, maybe not worry too much about truth, or give truth, give people what they want, not what is good for them or what they need, but what they want. It's like entertainment or something, sex and violence. So show them more sex and violence. Get your TRP ratings up. People watch more and more. More people watch, the more advertisers come on to your platform. So the more money you make, and then you are under. So there is a profit motive. You can get donations from political parties or ads from political parties. So how can you really be impartial and unbiased then? And then how can you call yourself the fourth pillar or fourth estate of democracy? So that doesn't really work, because most of these media outlets, almost all of them, are businesses. So when you have a business angle, then the service angle, the society centric thing goes out. You are not working for society, you are not interested in social reforms or truth or stuff like that. You are selling something and making money out of it. You are not selling a product, you are selling entertainment or news and stuff like that. So advertising revenues and all those things are uppermost in your minds. So how can one trust that media will be objective and unbiased? So, and when you try to talk of regulating, then they say, no, we will not accept regulation. We believe only in self-regulation. So they have sort of arrogated to themselves this superiority, that they are superior to everybody else, and they are the watchdogs of democracy or whatever it is, but without there being any substance to it, because they have to worship at the altar of the profit motive. So I don't understand how that works, and that is something that they have never really been able to answer properly. So there is a lot of that's a problem. It's a business, there are vested interests, and now there is a lot of polarization. There is also a lot of fragmentation, and so it's very difficult to now and very few people would find it possible to stay truly objective and biased and truthful. They either have to go this side or that side, depending upon what makes it easier for them to survive or thrive or whatever it is. So that is a problem, that is a challenge, and it is also becoming difficult with the competition from social media for media houses to remain relevant. So you generally see these, and it is all again, there is no real change. You don't see fresh faces in TV debates. You see the old sides, old experts. There is just recycling going on. You see the same faces coming on again and again. No new voices, no new fresh faces. You have a political debate, then you have to have a spokesperson from different parties who will always basically peddle their view, and then there will be somebody called a political analyst, and somebody who, and there are political analysts who call themselves political analysts but are affiliated to one or the other party. So again there is political stuff. So only a couple or one or two people are basically kind of not affiliated to the political parties. So these debates are also very stereotyped now, and it is just silly and senseless, because then you expect what is going to happen, and nothing new or meaningful will be discussed, and it will be the typical thing where one guy will defend the government, the opposition guy will attack the government, and then the analyst will again attack or defend according to his or her political affiliations, and only some time will be left for one or two old recycled experts who will say their own set pieces, and nothing really useful or new will come. So media is not really doing much, again not doing much of experimentation, not being courageous enough. Very few are there, and they don't even take feedback mostly. Even in their even entertainment programs, I don't think there is any serious mechanism of taking feedback apart from these TRP ratings, and which are only a few meters established in some houses. So based on that, they take a judgment about a huge market, and that's not realistic. For example, I see a lot of cookery shows on television. Now, I don't know whether that is supported by research, that people like to watch cookery shows or cooking shows. There is such a huge demand for cooking shows. I don't know. And nighttime television, not daytime television. So it's like everybody wants to watch cooking shows, males and females alike. So I don't think they do any serious job of taking feedback or doing surveys about what people want to watch and all. Firstly, even when it comes to entertainment, let alone the news part of it. And so trusting them. Secondly, the problem is now, in fact, funnily, both the sides are unhappy with media, mass media outlets. People who are pro-government are also unhappy because they find some outlets who are anti-establishment, and people who are anti-establishment are also unhappy because then there are plenty of outlets which are pro-establishment. So nobody is happy, and everybody is unhappy with the media, and that's very funny. Though, I mean, you have two camps. Media may be more or less split into two camps, maybe very few who are kind of neutral. And in spite of these camps, and maybe some camp being bigger than the other camp, there is still unhappiness. And now people are turning more towards social media. Secondly, if you talk of mass media, and especially the entertainment part, it is quite obvious that what you see, films and TV, it affects social behavior in society. Sex, crime, violence and all, and people have taken inspiration from that, in fact have learned some bad or good stuff from it. But then these guys will wash their hands off and say, oh, it is not our responsibility, it doesn't really matter, we are here only for entertainment. It is not true that people are influenced by what we show them. So that sort of a thing. And then they will say, we show people what they want to see. So again, how do you decide what people want to see? And did you do any surveys? Firstly, what is your feedback mechanism? And isn't it your job sometimes to shape the perceptions of society, show some good stuff, or influence people in a positive way? Then they say that is not our job, we are here to entertain and make money. So it's they are trying to eat their cake and have it too, and it's not a position that can be tenable morally or ethically completely. So it is their responsibility, and they have to study this, and they have to understand that what they show affects people's behaviors. Many people have been influenced by that positively, many times negatively. So it is their responsibility, and they should actually find out what people want to see. Even they are not even doing that, though they will say that we show what people want to see, but they decide what people want to see. And even there they are not taking honest feedback, and there also they are not showing something very good. So things that easily sell, or they think that will things that will easily sell or will be more popular. So even as marketers they are not doing a good job, or as sellers, and they are not even really trying hard to shape public opinion, which is, probably is one of their jobs. So it is a disappointing picture. It has become more disappointing over a period of time. Lots of political partisanship and rivalry and polarization. And now we have this whole thing of social media, and that's an entirely different ball game. Now, I do not believe in social media. The credibility part, I think it's lacking, sorely lacking, because at least, I mean, you can't simply go and write an article in a newspaper or go up onto a TV channel and be interviewed. I mean, anybody can't do that, or everybody can't do that. But anybody and everybody can put something on some social media platform, and it is possible to create all sorts of fake things, morphed things, using all sorts of Photoshop and other things, and cut and paste. And you put something, anybody can put anything. It's very democratic in that sense. And then somebody likes it and somebody forwards it, and then if more and more people watch it, then what you say becomes news. It might even be inaccurate, not even true, or half true, or whatever, and people start believing in it more. And somehow now people, because of other reasons, have got fed up with mass media, so they believe more in social media, which is actually not the right thing to do, because social media, it is very easy to spread misinformation, disinformation, lies and fake news and all sorts of things, but that is happening. And somehow social media has gained prominence because people have stopped watching television or reading newspapers or listening to radio, and everything is available through the mobile phone. So that has made it is easier for them to access social media. And since they are not consuming mass media offerings, they rely more on social media, and they somehow have this distrust that media is peddling falsehoods. So they rely on social media more. But in fact, even if media is bad, social media is not necessarily a good thing. And very rarely it might happen that something is suppressed and it comes out in social media, maybe in highly repressive or oppressive regimes like dictatorial regimes and all that. Very rarely would it happen. Sometimes it does happen, but most of the times, again, what happens is what people like and what becomes popular. And popularity is not necessarily doesn't, or majority doesn't mean truth or reality. So it's about your perceptions and your beliefs and what you like to believe and what you like to watch and all that. So there is no quality control essentially in social media, very little of it. So this is a problem, that somehow media has lost its trust and credibility. People have stopped using media for any source of information and news, the mass media, and they are turning more and more to social media and start believing more and more in social media, which is actually harmful, and a lot of nonsense goes around. So things are quite messed up, and I would think that people should not rely solely on social media, but because then there is fact checking, but then again it is about, you don't believe this fact checker, but you believe the other fact checker. So even in fact checking, you have camps. So it's a crazy picture out there. But I would still say that people should look at media, mass media, and should be the primary source of information and news. Of course, don't believe everything blindly or whatever you see or watch, but there is still basically some credibility. It has not completely gone to the dogs. There is bias and all that, but social media is anybody can come up and do anything, and there is no credibility whatsoever. So mass media, I would prefer mass media over social media despite its shortcomings. And of course, one would have to take care not to just blindly accept these things, and maybe check out from a couple of sources and all that, and maybe not rely only on one source but have different points of views and different sources. But then people would say we don't have time and all that, so it's a messed up picture. But social media can be a source of entertainment, but trusting social media as a source of authentic information and news can be extremely dangerous. So one needs to be careful about that. Thank you.